Hey YouTube, okay, I'm back. Here is my nice messy workstation with lots of tools and hard drives and cool stuff in the background. I got my Ibanez electric guitar. It's about 2 years old, maybe 3 years old. The strings on it are really crappy now. I mean, I was trying to tune it up with the electric tuner. You might be able to see it. The strings are... I play acoustic. I bought this mostly to help me learn, but I was trying to tune this up. I couldn't even get it to tune properly. The strings are really wussy. The tuners on here are a pile of crap. I didn't spend that much money on this thing, and that's okay, but problem with the tuners is that when I go to adjust it, I might just turn this thing a fraction, and it's already adjusted the string way out of tune in the wrong direction or the right direction. So, yeah, it's not the greatest guitar, but I like Ibanez, and this was just to help me learn. So I'm going to be restringing this guitar. Can't do anything with the tuners, but I can put on new strings. Let me zoom in over here so you can see what we've got on this guitar. Can I zoom in? Yeah, you can see a lot of dust here because my place is filthy, and I don't clean. Yeah, look at all that dust. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. So I mainly wanted you to watch this video so you could watch me dust my guitar. Now, we've got some adjustments here. Let me zoom in a little closer. Is the lighting good enough? Yeah, I think the lighting's good enough. We've got two adjustments on this here. We've got... Okay, I don't want to be too close. We've got the... Where is that? You got this screw at the back. And the screw at the back will make the string longer or shorter for the intonation. And then you've got the... Where is that? You got the screw on the top over here. You can see the little screw heads over here. Little black heads over there. I think those are Allen. Usually they're 2 or 3 millimeter Allen heads. And so if you look on the bottom, you can see, where is that? You can see the little black screws down there. You should be able to see that. The lighting kind of sucks, but you can see that black screw going through right over here. That changes the action, raising the string up and down so that it's not pressing on the fret, but it's low enough so that it will not buzz when you play. It won't rub on the fret, but it's not so high that it's very uncomfortable to play. So your two adjustments are your action, Jackson, and your intonation adjustment back there. Now, the cool thing about YouTube is you don't have to be an expert to be an expert. And I have never changed electric guitar strings in my life. But because this is YouTube, I am now an expert. So I'm going to change the strings, and we can both learn together. Sorry, it's a heat wave in LA. It's 89 degrees and it's like 10 p.m., so it's hot. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is I am going to be unwinding one string at a time. I could take all of them off, but if I take all of them off, I could change the some of the pressure, the tension on the neck, the fretboard over here, and then I would have to do some adjustments over here, which I don't want to do because even though I'm an expert, I'm not an expert. As far as intonation is concerned, what intonation is it's the how the string plays your notes. So like you would strum this is an open E, or it should be an open E, but it's totally out of tune because I can't tune it because the strings suck. So you would say that's an open E, and then you would go down and you would fret the E 1 octave up, and you would listen to it. If it held the sound of an E from here to open E, then you're good. If it didn't, then your intonation's off, and you need to make the string shorter or longer, which you would do by adjusting this screw over here. That would give the string length or shorten it, and that should correct your intonation problem so that your fretted E over here will be the same as your E over here, and your open A will be the same as your fretted A 1 octave up on the 12th fret. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my strings, which I've had sitting in the box for a few years. I'm going to unwind this thing, and then I'm going to, it looks like it goes through the hole down there and then slips out the back. So this is totally new to me, but I am a YouTube expert. So let me get the strings and I'll pull this first one off. I'll start to get this stuff wound, and then it's tune-up time. Maybe I'll do a little bit of dusting too. Maybe not. Okay, one thing that I do notice over here that's different than on the acoustic is this is kind of wound counterclockwise, which is a little odd, but that's okay. And then these two center strings are underneath this little clip over here, and then these two outer strings are under a clip also. So I was going to use my electric winder, but that's broken. Well, the battery's dead. So I'm going to be using wire cutters to maybe have to trim the string. I'm going to be using a string winder, and since I don't want to do any adjustments, I'm using the exact same size string. These are number 9 Ernie Ball Slinkies. These are number 9 strings on here, so as long as I am replacing with the same size string and I am doing one string at a time, I really shouldn't have to do many adjustments. What I see on here is it looks like every one of these has about 2 strings wrapped. Usually on the on the acoustic, there's about 3, maybe 2.5 to 3.5, sometimes 4 wraps, but there's not really a lot of room on here. So let me take some of that dust off, and I'm going to go and put this winder on here now. Let's back up a little bit. I'm going to put this winder on here, and I'll be turning this thing. Not a lot of room. I'll be turning this thing clockwise to loosen it. And you don't need to watch me do that, but I'm going to turn this thing clockwise and then remove this string, and then we will continue with the restringing and dusting video. Okay, so you can see that I have removed the string, and I also did a little bit of cleaning up because I felt terrible, well not really, about all this dirt on here. Nah, I didn't feel bad. So I cleaned everything up as best as I could. There's dirt all over the place still, but I'll get in there after I do the changing of the string. So let me show you what goes on next. Alright, if this is the way I believe it is, we've got the string over here, and this string should just go through the back. I'm assuming it goes through the back of the guitar. So let me turn this thing around without dropping it on my work table. I don't think the neighbors would appreciate that. Hold on. Alright, so that's the back of the guitar. There's a little slot at the back. And hopefully this string is going to come through. If it isn't, then I'm going to look really bad on my expert video. But, what happens here? Yeah, I feel it there. It's trying to come out. I just can't reach it because I'm standing in front of, oh, there we go. Standing in front of a tripod. Okay, so that's how you will change the strings. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go pull the string out of I'm going to pull the thickest number 6 string out of the package. And I'm going to feed it through this little holio in the back. And then what I am going to have to do, though, is I'm going to cut this piece off because I don't want to damage the insides of that. And then I'm going to slide the string out. Then I'm going to put the new string in. And when I come back, the new string will be through this hole. And it will be ready to go into the tuner hole so that we can wind it up and stretch this sucker out and start getting it in tune. I will be back. Hey there. Alright, it's never good to have a dead battery on a video camera when you're recording something. This is the back where the string goes in, and you probably can't see it because the lighting's not great, but the string just feeds into the hole, and then the ball of the string, where's the ball? The ball of the string will get caught, it will sit into that hole, it will seat inside there, and then it will feed out through the front so that we can string it. So, alright, I got about 8 minutes left on this battery, and then I'm going to be in trouble. So I'm going to go plug this thing into the wall and feed the string through and finish stringing the 6th string. Okay, so we've got about, hold on a second. Alright, so I don't really have much more video left here. This is definitely not good. Looks like I've got 8 minutes left, so I'm going to have to continue this video after I transfer everything. So I've got the string pulled all the way through. I've got the ball in the hole at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now, this is all like trial and error till you're a professional, like I will be in a couple minutes. So you want to notice the direction that the string feeds in, and when you tighten it, when you go counterclockwise, the string tightens. So it's kind of like with acoustic where, whoops, it's a little more difficult. With the acoustic, it's really easy because then you pull the string through, and whoa, 7 minutes, time's disappearing here. See, like with the acoustic, I usually put the string in and I lock it down. I lock the string so that it doesn't slip. And there's not really a lot of room on here. They've only got a couple of wraps on this string, and it doesn't really look like it's going to be easy to put a lock on there. But I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to experiment with it because that's what this is all about, as we learn together. Alright, I should have about another 10 seconds or so, and then I'm going to drop down to 6 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to transfer this video and pull it off of the memory stick, and then there we go, 6 minutes, and then I'm going to go in there and I'm going to finish this awesome, amazing restringing video so that you can do this too in your spare time. Alright, back soon. Okay, so looks like everything is cool now. I've got battery power and memory space. So I've got the string in here, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be able to do this while the camera is filming it, because I won't be able to get up there and do this without the camera looking at my arm or my hand. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bend this thing up. It wasn't bent, it was just completely straight, and they wrapped it around, but I'm going to bend it, and then I'm going to wrap the string around. You'll be able to see what it looks like afterwards. But that's how I do it with the acoustic, so I can lock in the string, and maybe I don't need to do that on this electric. I don't really play it that much, but that's how I want to do it. I'd rather lock the string in instead of just leaving it through the hole and wrapping around, which I'm sure would be fine, but I'm going to be locking it in, so I will show you what that looks like in a minute. Alright, I wanted to show you this before I throw the string inside the hole. Look how wobbly that peg is. Not good. You don't want that. That one, they might all be really loose. I haven't tightened these things since I got it. So when I take the string off, I'll find out. But I'm just going to be using a little wrench over here. Use the right size wrench, and you don't want to tighten this down all the way that it's going to stop it from turning. And you don't want to tighten it so much that you break the wood or the hole. But you do want it tight and secure. So make sure you check that out. I'm going to have to fix that alignment a little bit. It kind of spun in the hole. But make sure that that all your pegs are tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that string in there and continue from here. Okay, so I'm trying to do this so that anybody who hasn't done this before should be able to. So what I did is I pulled the string all the way through, made sure the ball was seated in the back, and put a little red line over there at the end, and then I went and I marked 2 inches up and put another red line. The red line's over there. So you can see the red line over here, and you can see the red line over there. What I'm going to do is at the 2-inch mark. That's going to be my starting point. I'm going to bend this string up, and then I will start wrapping. 2 inches should be enough to give me a couple of turns, but still allow me room to wrap the string on there when it stretches and it gets longer. So you don't want to fill this peg up all the way, because then you won't be able to, once your string stretches, you won't be able to wrap any more string around there evenly. It's going to bunch on top of the other strings. So whereas maybe with an acoustic you get 3.5, 4 wraps on here and you'd be able to stretch it, you're not going to be able to do that with this. So two wraps maybe, and then I'll use the rest to tighten up the string and stretch it out over time. And that's what I'm going to do now, is bend the string up and start wrapping. Alright, so you can see what happened here. Let me turn this up just a little bit. I got the tripod on here. You can see how I did that, how I kind of pulled this thing to the back, and then I started wrapping around this way, counterclockwise. And let me lower the camera. Okay, so it gave me a couple of wraps. Gave me about maybe 2.5 wraps. There should be enough space there to tighten this thing down. I haven't tuned it up yet. I believe I'm going to have enough space. So that was 2 inches. When we go to the smaller strings, and it might vary on your guitar, so you might want to use the old string just to mess around with to figure out what the calculations are going to be, so you could write them down until you get used to this. But I was about 2 inches, maybe a little bit less. I pulled that string up and started wrapping counterclockwise. So I'm going to tune this string right now so that I can keep tension on the neck, and I'm going to make sure that I've got enough room here to tighten this string down, and then I'm going to go on to the next string. Alright, so now I've got my 6th string tuned up, so I'm going to unwind the 5th string. And it's going to be the same process for all the 6 strings, so you probably don't need to watch me do this. Before I used a hand winder, now I'm using something that's attached onto a little hand battery operated thing. Makes it a little easier. So I'm going to go pop on the next few strings and then come back. Remember to make sure you, remember how I was telling you how it was loose? Look how loose this whole thing is. So make sure you tighten up your pegs as you go along. And since this string is thinner, if I go with the same 2 inches, I'm going to end up with a lot more windings and I'm going to run out of room. So as you, is that right? Okay. The skinnier the string, the more windings you're going to need for space. So I'm going to need a little bit more than 2 inches, I should say, for the next one. But I think I'm going to stick with about 2 inches on this one, and as I get to the smaller strings, I'll add more length. Alright, I'm going to be doing the 5th string right now. As I took out the 5th string, this was wobbling around, so all of these, I just tightened all of them up. All of them were extremely loose. And I pushed the 5th string through the back of the guitar, through that little slot. I seated the ball in that hole. And what I did this time is, you know, here's another way you can do it. I do this on the acoustic. On this one, I just used a 2-finger space. Sometimes with the acoustic I use 3 fingers because it needs a lot of wrapping on the peg. But on this one I only did 2. So I did a 2-finger width, and I put a red mark over there and a red mark over there. Now I'm going to go bend this thing up. And you know, sometimes it's difficult unless you get really good cutters. This end might not come out really well. That's why a lot of times you just trim it and then you start wrapping. You trim it before you start wrapping. And then you have a nice clean cut. But I'm not really that worried about it now. I've got my 2-finger space, a little bit more than 2 fingers, which is still, remember I said before that I was using 2 inches? Okay, so what's the 2-finger space right now? The 2-finger space is going to give us about 1.5 inches or so. But that's okay because these strings are going to be stretching, and I'm going to be tightening them up on the pegs as that happens. So a little bit of room is going to be okay for that. Your guitar will probably vary. They all vary, so you just have to experiment, measure, figure out. With this one, I went with 2 inches. Sometimes I'd go with a 3 finger, sometimes I'd go with 2. After you figure it out, then you just go make it a little bit longer each way down, down for each string, and you should be okay. Okay, I thought I would put on the video just for this one so that you can see what's going on. What I did, remember I told you I put the 2 red lines on there? Well, the longest red line, I put a bend over there. I didn't do that on this one. On this one, I did a nice sharp bend. And you're going to have to make sure that you've got your string inside your bridge. I don't even know if you can see that. You probably can't. But it's a little awkward. It's easier to lay this on a table. Most people would probably just put the string through and start winding, but I'm going to be taking the string and turning it in the opposite direction. I'm pulling the string clockwise as I'm going to be tightening the peg counterclockwise. A lot easier to do when you have a peg winder that's battery controlled, like I have here. And I'm going to raise this thing up a little bit so it makes it easier for me to do this. Yeah, that should still be in the video. Okay. So, I'm going to hold the string here. I get the hole lined up this way. I'm going to hold the string with my index and thumb, and I'm going to start winding counterclockwise. And once I get this thing to catch, that's the whole point. Is this in the video? I just want to make sure this is in the video. Yeah, this is in the video. Alright. Hopefully it's in the video. You're not going to know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Position it down. Counterclockwise. Make sure that's in the bridge. I mean, not the bridge, in the nut. Okay, that's much better. That's a much better wind than the first one that I did on the 6th string. It's much cleaner. There's not as many wraps. There's only about. There's definitely not a lot of wraps. Not as many as I should have. But I think it's going to be okay because I'm going to be tightening this thing. I'm going to tighten it a little bit more by hand so you can see what's going on. And then I'm going to, much cleaner, feels a lot better. And then I'm going to go in there and I'm going to cut it off on the end over here. And then I'm going to have a nice wrap. Alright, so I'm going to continue removing the strings. I'm going to be doing the 4th one, which is underneath this little bracchetto. So, wind it. And then I'm going to do that for the other 4 strings. So you probably don't need to watch me do that for all of them. And I've already tuned these 2 strings. Like I said, these pegs are really cheap. And the minute I turn them, it's like the string is out of tune because I've gone too far. But that's what you get when you buy a cheap guitar. Okay, on this one, I was able to do a lock. I was able to get the string underneath. Doesn't look as pretty as these. These are nicely wound. The string went under, and that's called locking the string so that it won't slip. And I'm still able to, this piece wrapped underneath, and everything still worked out fine. So, sorry about the long nail. Gotta have that long nail for strumming the guitar. Maybe it needs to be cut down a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Okay, that's what you need for finger picking. Alright, so I've done 3 strings right now. This one was a little bit more difficult because it was skinnier, and I had it under this bracchetto over here. This bracket. Kind of difficult to hold it into the nut and slide it under there and hold this and hold that and wrap it. Without the battery winder, it would have been very difficult. At least for a newbie, and that's what I am. Even though I'm an expert newbie trying to help you. You watch my mistakes, you'll learn from them. That's what I did with this one. Is I only did 2 finger lengths on the string. String was there to there. I bent it at the end and raised it up, and then I started wrapping. And it's a very nice wrap. Could have been a little bit longer, but it is fine. Now it's time to do 3 more strings and then I'll be back. Alright, like everything in life, you know, it's all about learning, experimenting, trying different things with your instrument or your experiences. So here's my mark, my red mark for 2 inches, like I've done on everything else. It's really just, I pulled the string through, I went 2 fingers after, 2 fingers length after the peg, and then I put a little mark. So what I'm going to do with this one, which I haven't done with the others, but this is how I do my acoustic, is I'm definitely going to lock the string. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take the string. What I've been doing with all of them is I've been bending the string up. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the string and go I'm going to go clockwise at that. So what I want to do, hold on a second, I'm like I said, it's about 87 degrees inside here right now because we are having a heat wave in Los Angeles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and get that red line, and I'm going to bend it at the red line, and then I'm going to take this thing, let's see, I bent it at the red line, I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it I'm going to wrap it clockwise, and I'm going to go under the string. I'm going to go under the string, and then I'm going to raise it up. It's very difficult because I've got this bracket over here that's in the way. So this string is now underneath. And then I'm going to wind it. If I can find my winder, well, the problem is my battery just died on the winder, so I'm screwed on this. Let me see if I've got a little bit of power. That is, by doing it this way, it is essentially locking the string. The string wraps around this piece, and you lock it in. You put it underneath, you raise it up. It's not as pretty, but it locks the string. And that's what I'm going to be doing on this one. Alright, hopefully this thing's got like 20 seconds of battery power to do this, or I'm going to have to do this by hand, which I really don't want to do. It's so awkward to do this on an electric. I'm not used to it. Okay. String is held up now. I'm going to go counterclockwise on this and wrap this and lock it. Yeah, you can already see it's definitely not pretty. Looks like crap. Let me go pull the string off. I'm going to have to shut off the video. You'll see the result in a minute. There it is. That's the number 654, number 3 string. I told you it didn't look that pretty. I pulled the excess piece out. It tuned in like 10 seconds. It was easy to tune. I'm so used to locking strings on the acoustics, so maybe that's what I should have done on these others over here. But, in fact, that's what I'm going to do on the last 2. I'm not going to worry about how pretty it looks. I'm just going to go and lock the strings. What I do is you slide the string through the hole, you wrap it counter. Why do I keep messing that up? You put the string through the hole, you wrap it clockwise, go underneath the string, lift it up, and then start wrapping counterclockwise. Okay, so what I decided to do, since I had enough stability on these strings, I decided to pull out the last 2 strings, and guess what? The last string doesn't want to come out. The ball is stuck in the hole. So this is, if nothing else, this video will be good because I don't know how to get it out, and you might experience the same thing also. So what I've got is I pulled this back out of the trash. I think this is the string for number 5. I'm going to just try to shove this down the hole and see if I can break this. Oh! Did it break it loose? It broke it loose. So hey, good for me, good for you if you ever have this problem. The ball was stuck. I couldn't remove it no matter what. I was using needle nose pliers. Nothing would work. You really can't get into the hole from the back. You would ruin it. So I went in with a piece of the string pressed down, and I have removed my stuck ball. And now I will continue to do the last 2 strings, which are extremely thin, as you can see, and that's why it got stuck in the hole. And these are going to require a lot more than the 2-finger width or the 2 inches of wrap because they are much thinner in diameter, so they're going to need a little bit more length to get a good wrap. Okay, I will admit I did a stupid thing. What I did is I locked the string over there, and I've done that on the last couple strings, and I like it much better. Doesn't look pretty, but it sure tunes better, and it just feels better all around, and it's the way you're supposed to put strings on, is you're supposed to lock them. So what I did is I didn't realize that I had the guitar strap sitting over the fretboard, and I kind of tightened the string down with the strap stuck between the string. So I had to go in there and loosen the string and pull everything off and take off the strap, because I wasn't going to remove or unwind this thing. So this is pretty awesome. It's a really nice nice fit, and I'm going to show you one more time. I want to show you how to lock the strings. And then everything's done. It's all tuned, and it's pretty awesome. I'm happy. Okay, so what we've got here, make sure that you can see this in the video. What we've got here, so to line up the hole with the fretboard, and I tightened down that nut beforehand, and I already bent it. I went a little bit longer, not too much longer. I went a little more than 2 inches. So what you do is you put the string through, and you wrap it clockwise. See, I got it right that time. You wrap it clockwise, and you wrap it underneath the string. Okay. Wrap it underneath the string, and then you pull up, and you wrap back. You see what I did? Hopefully you saw what I did. And then you just start tightening it. Definitely not pretty. It doesn't look right. Alright, I should have put this cloth under here, which means you might not be able to see what I'm doing. And then you just start wrapping, tightening. My neighbors are probably wondering why the hell I'm using a motor and dropping everything and banging everything around. And you just start wrapping. And okay, now I'm going to stop. I'm going to feed this wire underneath the brachetto, and then I'm going to hold it tight, and I'm going to wait until it starts tightening a little bit more, and then I'll put it on the nut. And okay, I'm almost there. And the battery's dying on this thing. Okay, I'm in the nut, and it's a nice tight fit. And I'm going to go over now and get the little tuner. Not good, not good. 6E, 5A, 2B. Okay, it's starting to lock in place now. Almost there. D. This better work. This better not break on me. I hope I didn't miss it. Here we go. We're almost at 1. We're almost at the E. The string is so tight. Holy crap. I hope that doesn't snap in my face. I know you people that have been listening to this video for 2 hours are saying, I hope it does. Okay, so we're tuned on 1. And like I was telling you, it's going to take some time to stretch. I'll stretch the strings after I'm done, like I do on my acoustic. Second string is tuned. Wow, the ones that I put that I lock the strings on, they are tuning so much nicer. The other ones are just all over the place. 4, that's way above. 5, that's above now. And 6 is way, way, way tuned above. Okay, so that is how you tune an electric guitar after you watch my awesome video on how to string everything. Hopefully you learned something from all of this. All the strings are now on here, and I do prefer locking. Yeah, I'm going to cut those extra wires when I'm done, but that's how you tune a guitar. Taught to you by an expert YouTube person who did this for the first time, and hopefully you learned something from it.